current electricity. In current electricity, we have already studied the creation of magnetic field and the rules with which we can find its magnitude and the relations that are used for finding the magnetic field, etc. Now we will study some more properties of magnetic effects. Force on a moving particle in a magnetic field. Here I mean charged particle. Force on a moving charged particle in a magnetic field. Let us consider a uniform magnetic field of induction B situated to the right in the plane of the screen. A magnetic field, uniform magnetic field, is situated in the plane of the screen, and the charged particle Q is moving with a speed v, with a velocity v, at an angle theta to the direction of the field and in the plane of the screen. The particle is also moving in the plane of the screen with a velocity v at an angle theta to the direction of the field. The force on this charged particle F bar is given by Q into V bar cross B bar. Q into V bar cross B bar. Or the scalar form is F is equal to QVB sin theta. F is equal to QVB sin theta because V bar cross B bar is equal to VB sin theta. If theta is equal to 0 or 180, then sin theta will be 0, so the force will be 0. The charged particle will not experience any force if it is moving in the direction of the field or opposite to the direction of the field. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, sin theta is equal to 1. So F is equal to BQV. This is the maximum value of the force. The force is maximum when the charged particle is moving perpendicular to the direction of the field, and the value of maximum force is equal to BQV. In such a case, the particle will move in a circular path. The particle traces a circular path if it travels perpendicular to the direction of the field. If the angle is other than 0, 180 or 90, then the path is helical. For any angle other than 0, 180 and 90, the path of the particle is helical. The force acts always perpendicular to both velocity and the field. The force is always perpendicular to both velocity and the magnetic field B. So we can say the force is situated in a plane perpendicular to the plane contained by V bar and B bar. The direction of the force is perpendicular to the plane contained by V bar and B bar. The work done on the charged particle due to the magnetic field will be 0. The work done by the magnetic field on the charged particle will be 0. For a physical concept of the force acting on a charged particle by a magnetic field is shown here. Let us consider the direction of the magnetic field is y-axis and the plane of the screen is xy plane. X-axis and y-axis are lying in the plane. Then the z-axis, a plane is perpendicular to this plane, is the plane in which z-axis is situated. So you have to imagine that the plane contained by the z-axis, is perpendicular to the screen. So upper surface should be considered perpendicular to the screen. The positively charged particle is moving in the xy plane, in the screen, in the plane of the screen, at an angle theta with the direction of the field. So the force will be along z-axis. The force will be along z-axis, perpendicular to the plane of the screen. The force will be out of the screen if the angle is less than 180 degrees, and the force will be into the screen, negative direction of z-axis, if the angle between B and V is greater than 180 degrees. Or if the charged particle is positively charged, then it will be along the positive direction. If it is negatively charged, it will be along the negative direction of that axis. So the direction of the force changes with the change in the direction of velocity, or the angle made by the direction of the velocity with the direction of the field. Force on a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. Force on a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. In the above figure, we notice a horizontal magnetic field. Imagine that the magnetic field induction B is horizontal and it is uniform magnetic field. In that horizontal magnetic field, a conductor is placed. Inside the conductor, we see Vd is the velocity of the positive charges. That is the direction of the current. And the electrons will be flowing to the left. They will be moving to the left. So the current is to the right. Then it is making the conductor, axis of the conductor is making an angle theta with the direction of the magnetic field. Now the force on these electrons, the force on these charged particles will be in the upward direction. The magnitude of the force, the force is given by, the relation for force is given by Q into Vd bar cross B bar. Q into Vd bar cross B bar. Vd represents drift velocity. Vd is drift velocity. So F bar is equal to Q into Vd bar cross B bar. But the angle between Vd and B is theta, therefore the magnitude of the force is equal to QVdB sin theta. The magnitude of the force F is equal to QVdB sin theta. Now the force, the motion of the charged particles and magnetic field can be shown separately in the graph shown below. Imagine a horizontal plane. XY plane is in a horizontal plane perpendicular to the plane of the screen. The direction of the velocity is taken as x-axis. Then the magnetic field induction B will be situated in this plane, XY plane. So you have to imagine that the x-axis, y-axis and the direction of magnetic field induction, they lie in a horizontal plane. And z-axis is perpendicular to this plane. Now the force will be along z-axis. If the drift velocity is along x-axis and the magnetic field induction is at some angle in the xy plane, at angle theta in the xy plane, then the force will be in along the z-axis. So this is how we have to imagine the different vectors are situated. The vector formula for force is given by Q into Vd bar cross B bar. Now let us calculate the force acting on a current carrying conductor. We have seen that the force on a charged particle of charge Q is given by QVdB sin theta. On charged particles, say electron, the force is QVdB sin theta. Q is charge, Vd is drift velocity and B is magnetic field induction. Now let us take a conductor of length L and area of cross section A, and it carries a current I. Then The volume of this conductor will be La. If small n represents the number of electrons per unit volume, if small n represents the number of electrons per unit volume, the total electrons in the conductor is given by n is equal to capital N is equal to small n into La. La is volume. Volume multiplied by electrons per unit volume gives the total electrons. So the total electrons n is equal to capital N is equal to small n La. So the charge crossing the cross section A, the charge crossing the cross section A, for each electron the charge is Q. For all the electrons the charge is equal to capital N Q, or that is equal to small n LAQ. The total charge crossing the conductor is small n LAQ. If this charge is crossing in time t, the cross section, if it is crossing the cross section in time t, then the current in the conductor I is equal to total charge by time. So that is NLAQ divided by T. The current in the conductor I is equal to NLAQ divided by T. But L by T gives the drift velocity of the electrons. So the current I is equal to NQAVD. The current I is equal to NQAVD. Since the force on each electron is small f, the total force on the conductor is equal to the total force acting on all the electrons. So F is equal to capital F is equal to small f into capital N. Capital N is the total electrons crossing. So the total force is equal to F into capital N. But capital N is equal to small n LA, and small f is equal to QVDB sin theta. Substituting these two values, we will get capital F is equal to small f into capital N, that is equal to QVDB sin theta into NLA. QVDB sin theta into NLA. But we have shown that the current I is equal to NQAVD. Substituting the value of current I, we will get capital F is equal to ILB sin theta. Capital F is equal to ILB sin theta. This relation can be expressed in vector form. This relation can be expressed in vector form as F bar is equal to I into L bar cross B bar. F bar is equal to I into L bar cross B bar. This is the relation for force acting on a conductor carrying current placed in a magnetic field. The force is 0 if theta is 0, and force is maximum when theta is 90. And the magnitude of the maximum force is BIL. Force between two straight parallel conductors carrying current. Force between two straight parallel conductors carrying current. Let us suppose two conductors carrying currents I1 and I2 are placed at a distance R in vacuum. The two conductors are carrying currents I1 and I2 and are placed at a distance R in vacuum parallel to one another. So they are drawn in the plane of the screen. The currents are carried in the upward direction by both the conductors. The left conductor carries current I1 and the right conductor carries current I2. Now magnetic fields will be created by both the conductors. Now I am imagining only the magnetic field due to the current I1. I am considering only one magnetic field, that is the magnetic field due to the current I1. From Ampere's theorem, we can write the magnetic field induction at a distance R as B is equal to mu naught I1 divided by 2 pi R. So at the place of the current carrying I2 current carrying conductor, the magnetic field induction is mu naught I1 by 2 pi r. That means we can imagine, we can suppose, we can conclude that the conductor carrying current I2 is placed in a magnetic field of induction B given by mu naught I1 by 2 pi r. From Ampere's grip rule, we notice that the magnetic field induction is into the plane of the screen. The magnetic field induction is into the plane of the screen and perpendicular to the plane of the screen. The conductor is in the plane of the screen. So, the conductor carrying current I2 is placed in a magnetic field of induction B and perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. Now, the magnetic field due to the current I1 acts perpendicular to the length of the conductor. So, we can suppose that the conductor carrying current I2 is in a field of magnetic field induction B given by mu naught I1 by 2 pi r, and it is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So, maximum force acts on this conductor. The magnitude of this maximum force is ILB. That is, over length L, the force acting on this conductor is ILB. From Fleming's left-hand rule, we can deduce that the direction of this force is towards the first conductor. It is left and it is towards the first conductor. Derivation for the relation of force. Derivation for the relation of force. In the case of two straight parallel conductors placed parallel to one another in vacuum at a distance r. Since each conductor is placed at the magnetic field of the other conductor, so the force on each conductor is given by the relation F is equal to ILB. The force on each conductor over a length L is given by F is equal to ILB. At the site of the second conductor, the magnetic field is created by first conductor and it is given by mu naught I1 by 2 pi r. The current in the second conductor is I2. So, substituting I2 for I and mu naught I1 by 2 pi r for B in the above relation, we get the relation for force F is equal to mu naught I2 I1 L by 2 pi r. The relation for force will be mu naught I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. This force acts over a length L. The same amount of force acts on the second conductor also, towards the on the first conductor also, towards the second conductor, by the magnetic field created by the second conductor. So, the force acts on both the conductors. So, the force over unit length is F by L. So, F by L is equal to mu naught I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r. The force per unit length is given by F by L. So, F by L is equal to mu naught I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r. The force is attractive if the currents are in the same direction. The force becomes repulsive if the currents are in the opposite direction. Moreover, the magnitude of the force becomes equal to 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons over unit length if the currents I1 I2 is equal to 1 ampere each. If the currents each is equal to 1 ampere and the distance between the two conductors is 1 meter and the conductors are in air or vacuum, then the force per unit length becomes equal to 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons. We can use this relation for defining ampere. We can use this relation for defining ampere. So, ampere is that constant current flowing in two straight parallel conductors placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter and cause the conductors to experience a force of 2 to 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons per unit length. The condition 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons if I1 is equal to I2 is equal to 1 ampere and R is equal to 1 meter can be stated as ampere is that current, constant current flowing in two straight parallel conductors placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter and cause the conductors to experience a force of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons per unit length. This is the definition obtained from the above relation for ampere. Fleming's left-hand rule. To understand this rule, first we have to understand the figure. Here you notice thumb, forefinger, middle finger. They are stretched and the remaining two fingers are folded. So imagine that the three fingers, thumb, forefinger and middle finger are stretched in mutually perpendicular directions. Stretch the three fingers in mutually perpendicular directions. Place the forefinger in the direction of magnetic field, which is indicated by B bar. Keep the forefinger in the direction of magnetic field, B bar, and the middle finger in the direction of current or in the direction of speed of a charged particle, positively charged particle, velocity of a positively charged particle. The middle finger in the direction of the current, forefinger in the direction of magnetic field. Then the thumb indicates the direction of force. This is known as Fleming's left-hand rule. It states that stretch the forefinger, middle finger and thumb of the left hand in three mutually perpendicular directions. Keep the forefinger in the direction of magnetic field and thumb in the direction of current. Then the middle finger in the direction of the current. Then the thumb indicates the direction of force. This is how we find the direction of the force acting on a conductor placed in a magnetic field. This is known as Fleming's left-hand rule. Summary